New season of Black Ops 6 Warzone is here, and as you guys know, that means more problems. Whether it's low frames, lagginess, crashes, or you feel like you're not getting enough aim assist, I have the fix for all of that in today's video. People have been asking for my filters for so long to try and figure out how I get my game to look so vibrant and so bright so that you can actually see those Terminator skins running around on Verdansk. Today I'm going to show you guys my exact Nvidia filter settings, and I'm going to tell you guys how you can customize them to your own liking. We're also going to go into some config files to get rid of all the extra assets that we don't need so that your game is getting as many frames as possible. I spent all day playing the new update with no crashes, whereas last season I was crashing left and right before I went in and fixed a few more settings today and did a lot of testing. Trust me, these are the best settings hands down that you're going to get. Send this to somebody who always complains about dropping frames because they're going to need it. And let's just dive right in. So here on Warzone, you want to open up your settings tab, head down to controller. That's where we're going to start. Whether you're on console or PC, this is for you. So of course your aiming input device should be on controller. My button layout's on default as well as my stick layout. Now button layout for me, I always played on tactical. I now play on default because I'm used to using paddles, and it makes it easier for me to aim when I slide with my paddles into a fight. Now in the past, before I had paddles, I thought tactical was better because I could slide cancel with my right stick. I still recommend that if you don't have a SCUF or a hyper controller. Code Retics, it's the old spelling, but code Retics for a discount. Very high quality controllers, but keep in mind button layout is personal preference. However, if you're struggling or you just want to try something new to maybe improve a little bit, maybe swap to tactical or default depending on what you're trying right now. Horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity, I have both at 1.8. If you want to take a look at my last video that I uploaded just a few days ago, I showed you guys how to find the perfect sensitivity, and it's something that you can utilize universally for Warzone multiplayer, and it'll help you figure out whether or not you need to raise or lower your sensitivity. Obviously, that's personal preference, as a lot of these settings are going to be. Now, I have all of these off from simplified controls preset, low motor strain, bumper ping, and swapping L1 and R1 with the triggers. The only one I want to talk about is swapping with the triggers. Now, I have these mouse click triggers. You might be able to hear them. So I have the instant triggers already. Now, if you don't have that, then it might be better for you to hit swap so that you can shoot with your top buttons, your bumpers, and that would make it to where you have more of an instant reaction time. When you click your trigger, sometimes you have to press it all the way down, whereas with the bumper, you just click it and it automatically clicks. So if you don't have mouse click, maybe try swapping those. Controller vibration, keep that off. This one's not really up for debate. Any type of shakiness or vibration going on in the middle of a gunfight has an opportunity to mess you up and get you killed potentially pretty consistently. So I would steer clear of any type of controller vibration unless you're a zombies or campaign player and you think that kind of makes it feel more immersive. Be my guest. But as far as multiplayer goes or Warzone, if you're trying to improve or trying to be competitive, definitely want to have that turned off. Same with trigger effect. If you have this on, it's going to cause issues. Now for dead zone, same thing. My last video, link in the description. You could either pause this video and go watch it, or you could wait till the end of this one and go take a look. I told you guys how to find the proper dead zone, but for a quick rundown, I have mine on 3 because I have Hall effect sticks, meaning I can't get stick drift. If you have stick drift, then you want to turn up your left and right stick minimum dead zones. If you keep them low and you have stick drift, then it's going to add all sorts of variables into gunfights. You don't want randomness in gunfights. You want your gunfights to be clean cut. You want to know what to expect. And so that's why it's important to make sure that if you're having stick drift, try raising your minimum sensitivity or your minimum dead zone up until that stick drift goes away. Now, as far as the left stick max, putting that on 50 makes it to where as soon as I move my left stick, I'm already starting my sprint. So I don't have to worry about pressing it in all the way before my character moves. Right stick max, I keep that maxed out. And then the left and right trigger I have on 0. Again, with instant triggers, that doesn't matter much, but if you don't have instant triggers, that could help you. Moving on to the aiming tab. Sensitivity multipliers, you don't have to really worry about these. You can put your ADS sense multiplier to 0.90, but we have a different setting here in a second we're going to look at that's going to take care of that. Keep look inversion on standard, and then go to your aiming advanced settings. Look inversion, again, standard on all these. Instant is what your ADS sensitivity transition timing should be on. Gradual is going to, again, it's going to make it to where it's kind of have a bit of clunkiness when you go to aim in at someone. Your sensitivity is going to take a second before it actually slows down. You don't want that. After zoom, also don't want that. You want to go with instant. It's absolutely the way to go. Third person ADS assist, who cares? I mean, we don't really go into third person. So aim response curve type, this should be on dynamic. Now, the only thing with this is if you play standard or linear and you're really good at aiming, keep it by all means, because it's not a massive difference. Well, standard kind of sucks, but linear versus dynamic, they do have big differences, but if you're comfortable on one or the other, stick with it. But if you're not having great aim right now and you're struggling and you don't have dynamic on, absolutely switch to dynamic. It's what most players use. Once you open up the curve slope scale, I have it on 0.90. I do recommend trying this for now. I'm going to work on a video here within the next week where I actually break down all the differences between this slope scale. I was told by a subscriber that they lowered theirs all the way down to 0 on dynamic, and their aim has been super snappy. So it's got me curious. Want to know what the outcome of that experiment is? Make sure you hit the subscribe button, maybe even turn on notifications. Here's why I said you don't have to worry about the sensitivity on the last page. Custom sensitivity presume is something everybody should be using. The reason for that is because when you're aiming up close with low zoom or even 2 to 3 times, it's a lot different from when you're aiming with a sniper. With a sniper, I want to be a bit snappier. You personally might want to be a bit slower with the sniper depending on how your aim is, so you might want to lower your sniper down to 0.75. Me personally, I like to have it at 1 because I like to quickly, snap onto someone's head because that just works better for me. That being said, I have Hall effect sticks, so my sticks are a lot less touchy. So I have my multipliers a bit higher than usual. In the past, and this is what I recommend for most people unless you have Hall effect sticks, I recommend 0.8, maybe 0.85 until you get to the 6 to 7 times zoom range, and then go up to 0.9, 0.95, or maybe even 1 if you want to be at that. I personally been running 0.95 for my low zoom and then 0.9 for the others. It's the best way I've kind of found a way to be comfortable on Hall effect. Hopefully this helps you a little bit because I've had some people in the comments mention how they're struggling with it as well. Target aim assist and ADS aim assist, of course, keep these on. That's, what are you going to do without it? You're going to miss a lot of shots. That's what you're going to do. Motion sensor behavior, make sure this is off. If this is on any of these other settings, not even just on, if it's on any of these, ADS only, hipfire only, it's going to mess with your aim in a negative way. It's going to mess with your gameplay in a negative way. Moving into the motion sensor advanced settings, just make sure one thing is off, and that's here at the top. Motion sensor ratcheting better be off. I've seen it turn itself on in the past, so if you don't know already if it's on or off, go check, make sure it's off. If it's on any of these, again, you're going to have some variables, some things that are kind of out of your control. Heading over to the movement tab, tactical sprint assist, of course you're going to want that. You don't want to have to double click your right or your left stick to sprint. You're going to sprint a lot, so let's make it easy on our thumbs and our controllers. Turn your sprint assist delay down to 0, that way you're immediately sprinting as soon as you start moving. You don't have to have a bit of a delay in that clunkiness. We don't want this in a game that has relatively smooth movement. It has a lot of issues, but the movement is pretty smooth, but you have to have the right setting. Sprint assist sideways and backwards should be on too. You have omni movement, let's utilize it. Mantle assist, get this off, turn it off, get it. Just get it off, man. I hate it. Crouch assist off and corner slice off. Now to talk about crouch assist and mantle assist and why I don't like either of these, because I don't want the game doing things for me. I want to have full control of my character. And this mantle assist, more often than not, is going to hurt you. You're going to be in the middle of a gunfight. You're going to jump to try and kill the enemy. They're going to be one shot. You're going to jump and go to hit that one shot, and then your player's just going to randomly super soldier, one hand, put his fist in a box and jump over it, and then you're going to be dead and waiting for your teammates to buy you back. Crouch assist, it doesn't matter as much, but again, I don't need an assistance on that. Corner slice, this does nothing really. As you can see in the note right above my face cam here, it says corner slice does not affect your aim. It also doesn't affect your hitbox. It doesn't affect anything really at all. It just kind of looks different. So if you like it, keep it on, but if not, there's no reason to learn it if you don't like it, so just keep it off. Slide dive behavior, I absolutely recommend hybrid. If you're not on hybrid, you must not be utilizing omni movement much. Just know that if you're on tap to slide or tap to dive, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage, because if you try to do either or, like if you're on tap to slide and you try to dive, it's going to have a delay. If you're on tap to dive and you try to slide, it's going to have a delay. So you want to make sure either you're on slide only, dive only for some reason, or hybrid. Hybrid's definitely the way to go though. Sprint restore, slide maintain sprint, both should be on. If you're having clunky movement, if you're getting dead slides, these two settings may help you with that. If not, then you're probably just mistiming your slides. Parachute automatic behavior off. Again, I want to have full control of my character, and when my parachute pulls, if I break my ankles because I was being a little too gutsy, that's on me. Mantle cancels reload. I want to reload. If I'm reloading, I want to finish that reload. Movement advanced settings. You can copy these down. There's nothing really to talk about here. Again, it's kind of the same theme, like auto door peek. If I want to peek a door, I'll just peek a door. Like I don't need the game to do it for me. Some people might like this setting though. I totally get it. Personal preference. Vehicle advanced settings, you can copy mine down. So this is what it would be like if you're looking to have the OG Verdansk 2019 vibes on your vehicle controls. I tried the new controls out for the last couple years. I like them, but now that the vehicles are actually more useful, now that they've been buffed with Verdansk, I use vehicles a lot, so I'm constantly using the camera to kind of try and see my surroundings, see what enemies I can find, and these are the settings you're going to want to have to do that effectively. Moving over to the last tab in the controller side is combat. Aim down sight behavior, hold, I mean, and not much to talk about there. You can kind of leave whatever these settings are that you have now if you're comfortable with them. Same thing with like prioritizing finishing move, that doesn't really matter. Now armor plate behavior, I have it on apply 1. Can you guess why? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, you probably already got it. Because I would have full control of my player. A lot of people like having apply on. Let me tell you, if I'm getting pushed by someone, and I did try apply all in the past, I'm getting pushed by someone and I have no plates on, and I start to put on 1 plate, and then they push me, I can stop plating and I can shoot them. Whereas if I have apply all on, I'm going to have to put the first plate, go to put the second plate in. Then I got to double tap Y to cancel it, or double tap triangle to cancel it. And then now my player's putting the plate halfway in, now they're taking the plate out, now they're back with her, and I'm dead. I'm already dead. C4 detonation all at once, 1 by 1, whatever you have, personal preference with there. Yeah, equipment behavior hold, manual fire behavior on press. If you have manual fire behavior on hold, it's going to potentially affect your rate of fire with something that you're holding, so it's best to just do it yourself. Combat advanced settings, the only main one here that's really important, I would recommend copying all of these settings, but the one that's really important is interact/reload behavior. If you're already comfortable with what you're doing, that's great. The reason I use prioritize interact is because in the past, if I used prioritize reload or tap to reload or anything, and I would try to do something in a situation where I needed to reload, my player might open a door or pick up a satchel or something, and then I'm getting pushed by the enemy and I have no bullets. So with it on prioritize interact, I've noticed that as long as I hold my reload button, I'm going to reload every time. There's no instances where I'm going to pick up something, close a door, open a door. So that's why I recommend prioritize interact. The same thing kind of goes with prioritize reload, where then you would just tap to reload. It's a lot better to be on prioritize interact from my experience. Scoreboard, toggle, overlay advanced settings, you can come in here and copy this down as well. And that's it for the controller settings. Moving on to our graphics settings. Starting with the display tab, full screen borderless is a good option. In the past, years ago really, full screen exclusive was the only way to go, because if not, you were kind of sacrificing a lot of performance. Now you can run full screen borderless pretty smooth, pretty seamlessly, so I recommend it. Now, if you have 1 monitor, maybe stick to full screen exclusive, but I have 3, so borderless makes it to where I can kind of navigate through things. Obviously, make sure you're on the right displays. Aspect ratio, automatic. Restart shaders preloading. Once you're done with all these settings, come back and hit this button right here. Remember this now. When you're done with all these settings, come back and hit this button to make sure that they're all implemented correctly the next time you play. Display gamma 2.2. Gamma brightness. Now, fun little story here. 55 is the exact number I've used since I started playing Call of Duty. When did I start playing? Modern Warfare 2, the OG. So it's been 16 years, I think, of this. 55 has always been what I use. It's just a sweet spot where it's not making everything look washed out, but it is helping kind of with visibility. Video reflex low latency, make sure that's on. Now, some people need on plus boost. That's if you have a high CPU bound case. Most people are going to be running on for the reflex low latency. Eco mode, have that on custom and go with these settings here. VSync should be off, especially with gameplay. Menus, whatever, but VSync should be off in gameplay. It even says right behind my face cam here. Enabling this setting avoids screen tearing problems, but induces some input lag. You just ran into your favorite streamer. You have 1 chance to fight him. Maybe you'll impress them. Maybe they'll love the kill. Maybe you'll get invited to their party and you have input lag and you get fried. Not what you want. Let's turn that off. Custom frame rate limit. I have it unlimited. If you're struggling, in the past I had a PC that was really struggling, so I had capped it to 180. I capped it to 144. Kind of just wherever you see your PC get to. Instead of having it unlimited, make sure your PC isn't trying to do any extra work. Limit your frame rate, but if your PC is doing fine, don't even worry about it. Reduce menu, render resolution, native, pause game rendering off. This stuff right here, again, doesn't really matter. I do think focus mode should be 0. I think that's ideal, but maybe there's another way you'd like to have it. Quality tab, we're going to go with the graphics preset of custom, of course. Render resolution should be 100. Make sure this fits your screen. If it goes lower, I mean, as you can see in the picture, it starts to look awful. If it goes bigger, it looks even worse. Don't mess with this. Keep it on the correct monitor output that you're on. Mine's 1920 by 1080. Dynamic resolution should be off. Upscaling and sharpening. Fidelity FX cast is the way to go as far as the way the game looks, the amount of frames you get, and the overall performance of your game. With that being said, the strength I have it on is 85. Some people find more success with a higher strength. Some people find more frames with a lower strength. It doesn't make a huge difference. But in the past, when I had a PC that was struggling, I remember putting this down to around 70, was a bit more helpful in stopping my game from having stutters and any kind of like big frame drops. Moving on to the frame generations, make sure these are both off. You don't want these on. VRAM scale target should be maxed out if you can. If your PC is struggling, feel free to lower it down to 80, maybe even 70. You're kind of playing with fire there. 80 is an okay spot. I go with 90. ERS for variable rate shading, you want to have that on. This is a huge FPS boost, excuse me, that you need to utilize. If not, you're just wasting the opportunity to have a much smoother gameplay experience. Speaking of which, for a smooth gameplay experience, this is important. Do not skip this part. Texture resolution. Low is a good sweet spot. I have a 4070 Super, I have an i9, I have a solid PC. It's very good. It's a lot better than what most people have. Now, of course, it's not the most high-end PC, but most people aren't on those. That's what kind of big streamers have. So if you have anything like what I have, go with low. I went with normal a couple days ago. PC was struggling, man. I'm losing frames. I'm getting screen tearing. I went back to low and everything's fine. Now, if you have to go very low, that's fine too. It looks a little ugly, but you know, if it fixes your FPS, if you have like a 3060, 2080, something older that's not really keeping up with you, maybe go ahead and put that texture resolution down to very low. If you can handle it on normal or high, more power to you, man. I'm jealous. Texture filter and isotropic should be low. Depth of field off. No discussion here. Turn this off. You don't want blurriness. Look at the pictures. You don't want that blurriness all around. You want to see your surroundings. Detail quality I have on normal. If you're getting stutters, you can put it on low, but this is one of those things where you're not really giving up too many frames for your game to look quite a bit better, honestly. Particle resolution very low. If this is low through high, then you're going to drop a lot of frames. You're going to have some stutters depending on your PC. Bullet impacts on, persistent effects off. Either of these on or off doesn't make a difference. Shader quality should be on low. On-demand texture streaming should be minimal. Allocated texture cache size on 16 with download limits off. And local texture streaming quality should be on low. Moving on to the shadow and lighting tab. Shadow quality low, because very low, it looks really bad. Whereas you put it to normal or above, losing a lot of frames. The rest of these should be off and then low for static reflection quality. These aren't up for debate. Any of these being on is going to have a negative effect on not only your game's performance, but probably your personal performance as well. Tessellation off, volumetric quality low, and then the physics quality, volume quality, off. Keep these off. They're fun, they're cute if you play campaign. I mean, look how much better that water looks if you have the water quality turned up. However, do I need that when I'm in the middle of a ranked game and I'm trying to get SR and I'm trying to go 35 and 6? No, I don't really need to worry about how the water looks. Now to the view tab, this is very important. Motion reduction preset, just keep that off. Field of view, I have it on 115. Last video, again, I discussed the proper field of view for you, but long story short, if you play multiplayer and you want to have the most sticky aim assist possible, you want to go somewhere between 105 and 115. And if you play Warzone, you need to zoom out a bit so you can see more of your surroundings. You're going to want to go 115 to 120, but just know once you get above 115, you're going to lose some of that aim assist. ADS field of view should be unaffected. Weapon field of view on wide. It's a kind of an oxymoron. Your weapon field of view on wide, you would think makes your gun bigger, actually makes it smaller so you can see more of your surroundings. Wide is the way to go. Third person, who cares? Vehicle field of view, again, keep that on wide. World motion blur and weapon motion blur need to be off. Why would you want blur? Again, you want to see things, you don't want it to be blurry. And then camera movement, again, least. If you have this turned up, then shaky screen is going to definitely help you when you're in a gunfight. Third person ADS transition, you know, you can copy these couple settings down here. These don't really matter too much. That's it for the graphics tab. Now I'm going to skip audio for now. We're going to go back to audio, but I think that it's important that I go over my interface settings after graphics because these kind of go hand in hand as far as making your game a bit more vibrant. So you can copy this entire tab down. There's nothing to really talk about here. If you have something you like, go for it. But if you want to see what other people are mostly using, this is what it is. Now telemetry, you can make it custom. I just want to know my server latency and packet loss and my FPS counter. So I know if my PC is dropping frames, and I know if I'm in a bad lobby as far as my, ping goes. That stuff's important to find out. Also, make sure these bottom two are turned on because these are going to put those icons on your screen to let you know why your game is running poorly, if it is. So that's important to know so that you're not troubleshooting it all day. You already know what it is. Moving over to the readability tab, copy these down as well. These top things are kind of all personal preference, so there's nothing to talk about there. But color customization, there's something to talk about. So you can go into your squad member colors. A lot of people don't know this. You can change your squad members' colors, so you can give them like assigned colors kind of, so you know kind of what colors to look for on your mini map. But the important thing is coming down to the color filter settings and turning on color filter 2. Color filter target needs to be on both because if it's on interface, then it's not in your game. If it's on world, then it's not on your screen, on your menus. So you want to have it on both. and then up both of the intensities to 100. That's one aspect of helping you guys improve your overall visibility in the game and your brightness. I'm going to give you guys the Nvidia filters after this section of the video. Make sure you watch that part too. Moving over to gameplay HUD, minimap shape. Now I'm just only going to go over the things that are really important here. Minimap shape, square, absolutely. If it's on circle, you're giving up extra area on your minimap that you could be using for more information, for more red dots on your UAV. Square is giving you more area, more information. It's very good. A lot of people like to get in comments on settings videos. I've noticed I've had a few blow up in the past, and I see the comments and they're like, these settings suck. I don't know what to tell you. This is literally a setting that is set in stone, the best way to go. So make sure you're following at least some of the minimap rotation should be on. It's just easier to read. That's kind of the traditional COD minimap. Radar off or on, whatever you want. But here you can copy all of these. I'm looking to see what else there might be to talk about on this section. But while I'm doing that, feel free to copy these down. Pause the video to copy these, whatever you want to do. Kill feed duration on default. I do like to have the kill feed up because it tells me how many kills my teammates are getting, especially if I'm playing with randoms. I kind of want to know if we're at a 4v4 fight in quads and my teammate gets a kill. I want to know that, and sometimes it might pop up and it might disappear and I might forget that they got the kill. So I like it on default. It stays up for however long it stays up for, 5 seconds I guess it is, and you know, any longer than that might clutter. So I think default's the way to go. Now my crosshair, a lot of people ask about my crosshair, so there is some science behind it, boys. Crosshair color, as you can see, I'll show you guys the custom color code. Copy this code right here, C3D100, and put this in if you want my crosshair color. The reason I go with this bright yellow kind of tennis ball color is because scientifically, it's the first color that your brain registers. So wherever my crosshair is, if I see someone, my brain, I don't know, just the way I think at least, my brain's going to register quicker if I have the color. I don't know, man, it's a little nerdy, but it works for me. Crosshair dot on, center dot scale, largest, and then crosshair spread and opacity on and 100. Very helpful. Hit marker visuals and damage based hit markers should both be on. That's more information per fight that you're going to be able to use, whether it's more headshots, so you know that you're getting headshots due to the damage based hit marker. It's helpful stuff. Elimination feed and minimap opacity, keep those on 100. You don't want to have like a halfway opaque minimap. You want to be able to see everything on it. But that's it for the interface tab, and now we can go to the audio. So here's the thing with the audio tab. If you really want to go crazy with your audio and you're on PC, or even if you're on PS5 and want to use remote play, go to Art is Wars videos. Everybody knows about the art tune. I even have it. It's just not currently working because I messed something up. But that's really the only thing you can do. There's only 2 other things you can do. One is change your audio mix, where Treyarch mix is the way to go. However, currently, apparently, because as you know, Activision and Treyarch do, there's issues in the game. Apparently, these are all currently the same exact audio mix, but you want to put it on Treyarch mix for when they fix it, because that is the best one. Mono audio should be off. Mute gain when minimized. You know, this is all stuff that all personal preference. Do whatever you want to do there. Reduce tinnitus sounds should be on. I thought it was tinnitus. I hear people say tinnitus. I'm not sure. But hit marker preset, I have it on classic. For a while I had it on none, because if you turn off your hit marker preset volume, or it basically makes it where you have no audio on your hit markers, it sort of makes it to where you don't drown out footsteps. Sometimes getting a lot of hit markers makes it to where you can't hear the other guy's teammate pushing from behind you, or whatever the case may be. However, hit markers are just so satisfying. You gotta have them on. Voice chat, don't have this maxed out, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself, man, because they're in there, they're screaming slurs, they're saying all sorts of things, and then it's all loud and it's hurting your ear, and then you try to mute them, but then the game starts, and the loading screen, you can't mute them, so they're all yelling. Turn it down no higher than 30, bro, unless you can't hear them at all. But me personally, above 30, after that, I get a migraine like that, dude. So make sure all these settings are set correctly. Again, these aren't really personal preference, but they're more so your system's preferences. And the last thing, dismemberment and gore effects can have a bit of an effect on your game. So if you want to turn it off, it can kind of save you a little bit of resources, but it's not a huge one. A lot of people I know have questions about that. And then profanity filter. A lot of people don't know this exists. You turn it off if you want to see what these guys are cussing about in chat. Just saying. You might not want to know, but you can go check. These settings do have me feeling really snappy on the game lately. My aim, I took, mind you, 5 months off of this game, and I'm feeling really good lately. My aim's been great. Now, just to give you guys an idea of how good the filters are, I'm going to turn off my filters. And mind you, mine are kind of weaker. I don't like having super washed out colors, but take a look at what it's like without the filter and with the filter. A decent amount brighter. I mean, it just looks a lot better, a lot more aesthetically pleasing, but also you can see more people as far as like these Terminator skins in the trees and these ghillie suits in the bushes. You can actually see them with these filters. So let's get you with the correct Nvidia filters. So first thing you do is make sure you have your Nvidia GeForce and all that all set up. The Nvidia program, make sure you have everything set up. Hit Alt and Z on your keyboard to pull up this menu. And from there, go to the game filters section. Start your new filter, and here's what I use in specific. So the way it works is you pick a filter, and then you go scroll down and you have to add one of these different things. So I have color as my first one. So you click color, and the settings for color are right here. Tint 40, tint intensity 24, temp 0, vibrance 100. This just what kind of adds a lot of that popping color to your screen. Next one is details. So I'll close color so it's a little bit less confusing. Next one is detail sharpen 31, clarity 10, HDR toning 20, and bloom 15. Now let's talk about this one for a second. You can raise a couple of these things. Mess with these settings all you want. These are just a baseline for you to use. If you like the way my game looks or your game looks after you apply these, great. If not, mess with them. Bloom is a fun one because if you up your bloom a lot, you can see the game kind of looks more like a cinematic tone to it, kind of like a dreamy tone. Some people might like that being like, I tried it around 35 for a little bit and it was fun. It looked cool. However, it wasn't for me. It wasn't great on my eyes. So I went down to 15. I think now looking at it, I'm going to go up to 20. I think I can raise it just a bit, but it is something fun to play with. So I would recommend the details tab being the one that you mess with the most. Color, I think, is pretty much set in stone, very solid. You don't really want to mess with your tint too much. Vibrance being at 100, you can't change that. But as far as the details goes, you can mess with this tab all you want. You can sharpen your game if you want. I personally like it around 30, 31. Speaking of sharpen, there's a sharpen tab. Add sharpen, that's the last thing. Intensity should be at 30 and ignore film grain at 100 because ignore film grain at 0 versus 100. It's a nice difference. And that's it for my filters. Now, are there other things you can add that you might like personally? Absolutely. Some people like sharpen plus. I don't know what special effects even had. Like, let's see what special effects has. Special effects retro? Like what? Oh, look at that. It zooms in my screen and makes the colors kind of pop. That's pretty crazy. I didn't even know about that. Then there's a sketch one. Turn your game into a sketch. Like there's all sorts of things you can do. Half tone. Some people paid 20 bucks to get a bundle that looks like this. You can just make your whole game do it. But mess around with your video filters. Don't assume that I have the best. Minor personal preference. Now before I get into the next settings, which are very important, I want to let you know that tomorrow's video, which might be up by the time you're watching this, is going to be a personality based challenge video. Still going to be posting tips videos a couple of times per week, as well as settings updates, meta updates, things like that. But I'd really appreciate if you guys would check out the personality based videos. Just give them a try. If you don't enjoy them, that's fine, but give them a try. Maybe tune into it right after this. It might probably be linked at the end of the video, but here's a sneak peek. Did you see that? Did you see that? Give it a second. I'm gonna get a couple more. Just give it a second. Wait till these guys. So you see this aims class? I show it in the video. Something I found myself that I really enjoy, but this thing beams. With that being said, I can't spoil the ending, so make sure you guys tune in to that video. Show it some love if you want more than that. With that being said, let's drop into the next settings. But my desktop's a mess. Don't mind it. Go Eagles. With that being said, right click your desktop and hit show more options and go to the Nvidia control panel, assuming you have it. That'll bring up this setting. We'll go ahead and just open it. Holy Christ, that's bright. So what I'm not gonna do is bore you and waste your time and pretend I know what all this stuff does. I copied this from World Series of Warzone players. It's what works the best for them, so I assume it works the best for us. Now you want to head to change resolution and make sure that your monitor, as you can see, I have 3 monitors here. You want to make sure it's got the maximum refresh rate selected. Some people wonder why their monitor they just got is so slow. It's ugly looking. For some reason, it feels unresponsive. A lot of times they haven't come into here and selected it. And most of the time you're going to have to. Sometimes it might come and already have it kind of pre-selected. But 90% of the time, you're going to have to go in here manually and change your refresh rate. Adjust desktop color settings. Again, this will affect anything that you apply it to. Any monitor, it will always have these affected. With that being said, you can raise your brightness, you can raise your contrast, you can even raise your gamma. These are some solid settings here. I have my digital vibrance at 60%. Raising it, it gets a little bit too much, but lowering it would not help you whatsoever. You want to keep it around 55 to 60%, whatever works best for you. Now, head up to the Manage 3D Settings tab, and I'm not going to go through all these specifically. Pause the video right here, copy these settings down. I mean, all of them off at the top, but you do want to copy these settings. If you want the best performance from your game, no matter what kind of rig you have, this is what you want to do. So copy these down. Now from DSR factors on, I'm going to cut that off. So DSR factors, copy these right here. These, again, I mean, look, you can mess with them if you want. And I'm kind of just preemptively responding to the comments that are going to say, well, my PC benefits from multi-frame sampled AA on. It probably doesn't. You're probably just being argumentative because you're in a bad mood. Guys, don't fall for it. Trust me, these are settings that are tried, tested, and true. Biffle, Iceman Isaac runs these exact same settings. Like, some of the best players in the world run these. And I'm all right. I'm pretty good, I guess. So moving on from texture filtering negative, this is the bottom of the list. Copy the rest of these down. I'm not gonna bore you. I'm not gonna pretend I'm a scientist. Or scientist is crazy. I know it's not. What I'm trying to say is I'm not gonna pretend to be smarter than I am. I don't know what a lot of these do. Like triple buffering. What the hell is? I know what buffering is when I'm watching YouTube. Triple buffering's crazy though. Just copy these down. But that's really it for the Nvidia control panel settings. I feel like some people kind of try to milk this section of the video to extend their video. I'm not here to do that. Copy these settings, you're good to go. Now to go over a few things that a lot of people already know, go to your search bar and type in power, and then you see choose a power plan. You click on that, you're gonna wanna be on high performance. Show additional plans. Now you can go power saver or balanced if your PC is struggling. It's worth trying. But high performance, if you wanna have the most FPS, it's gonna, like it says here, it's gonna use more energy. It's worth it though if you're trying to kind of just have more smooth gunfights. If you're in a tight battle inside of like a building in downtown, sometimes you can drop frames in there. So if you have it on high performance, it's going to help mitigate that. The next thing is with game bar. You can type in game bar and look at your game bar settings. What I did is I use a program called CCleaner. It's completely free. A lot of people know about it. A lot of people use it. And it has an uninstaller that makes it easier to kind of just knock things out, fix your computer up, get it nice and right. And what I did was I went through CCleaner to uninstall the game bar. I recommend doing that. Game bar is not going to help you whatsoever. As you can see, the hidden icons on my taskbar, one of them is my Nvidia GeForce, which is the Nvidia program. Now, if you're an AMD guy or something, you have a different program, but it's all kind of the same. But what does mine say right here? Nvidia GeForce Game Ready driver update is available. That's perfect. So what you want to do if you have a driver update, you want to check for it. If you didn't do one in the last couple days, you probably have one right now. And all it will do is essentially you go to drivers, it'll tell you the driver's ready, you hit download, and it'll finish it for you. It'll just knock it out. Actually, I can show you. You hit download. It's a small download, doesn't take long. Sometimes you don't want to immediately do the driver update. You might want to wait and make sure there's no bugs on it, which is why I'm not actually going to install it, but I want to show you guys how easy it is. Just click install. Now, I'm not going to do it, but you just click install, and it's really genuinely that easy. With that being said, you should probably check Twitter, maybe check Reddit, try to figure out if that's the right driver for you to be using. Sometimes when you update to a new driver, that driver is not very well compatible with Warzone. You might get some crashes, you might lose some frames. So there's always kind of an ideal way to go. And there's certain people on Twitter or on Reddit that can help you figure that out. I think we're going to go over, certainly not least though, is your config files. Editing your config files is kind of a way to reduce clutter in your game, reduce the assets that your computer has to load in and things that it has to do. And it can especially help if your PC's been struggling to run the game or if you need more frames. Now, if you have a good PC, it's still going to be helpful. So make sure you follow along. And you want to go to your txt0 file. Open that up. And from there, hit Control F. And what Control F is, it works on any website. It works on just about any program. It's your find feature. It's very useful to know. So Control plus F, type in the word corpse and hit enter. And it will come to your number of AI corpses, which is a very fun topic. Set your number to 0. It's going to be a default set to the maximum of 28. It's going to leave corpses being rendered into your game all throughout the map. It's not going to help you whatsoever. It's actually only going to have the inverse effect. It's going to be a bad thing. From there, we're going to want to type in renderer. Now, renderer is a fun one. So render worker count. As you can see, it's automatically set to the highest number. There's an easy way to figure out what you have to utilize here because Iceman Isaac, again, a guy I take a lot of inspiration from my channel, if you guys haven't already noticed. He has a graph in his videos that I've seen in the past that I'm going to put on the screen right now, so shout out to Isaac for that. Find your processor on this graph. If you don't know what processor you have, you can type in the search bar system information and bring up this tab, and your processor is right here. So I have an i9-14900KF. Now, according to his list, that means I have 8 P cores, and to get the correct worker count that I need, I have to subtract 1 from my P core. So with that being said, I have 8 P cores, 8 minus 1 is 7. I have to put the number 7 right here, and we're done with that section now. That one is very important, so even though there's a lot of extra stuff you have to do, that's probably the most important one from this whole list. It's going to take a little bit of time for you to figure this out, but trust me, it's worth it. Another one that's been the same since MW2 days is heaps. Once you head to heaps, GPU upload heaps, you want to change that to false if it's not already there. The next one is clip map, one word. This is a newer one. This one hasn't been being changed quite as much in the past, but you want to change your clip map to 0. So mine's 1024. I want that to be 0. Another common one that people have been doing for a while is blood effects. So you type in blood effect, you want to have this on true instead of false, and then limiting blood effects from 1 to 2000, you want to put this at 2000. You want it fully limited. Again, using less assets is important. Another one that's kind of newer is type in brass. It'll be weapon eject brass, and you want to change that to false if it isn't already. Mine is already a false though. Probe is the next thing you're going to type in. After you type in probe, it'll be reflection probe relighting. Change that from 1 to 4. It's going to be at 4 most likely. Change that to 1. And then from there, just make sure you save it. So hit file, save, and then you should be all good to close it out. You're all done. You did it. Your game's going to run way smoother than it did before you watch this video. And all I ask in return is a like. Maybe here at the end, clicking on when it pulls up that video I was talking about earlier, maybe give it a watch for me, just a little bit, or drop a comment, or send this video to someone who needs it because they're not shooting straight. They're shooting zeros around the enemy, and they're blaming their frames. Let's fix that so that they have no more excuses. I appreciate you guys for making it this far in the video. If you did, let me know down below by commenting the word shared, by sharing the video, and then commenting. You'll get a shout out in the next video. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I've been Retics. See you guys soon.